Reincarnated as a first-rate villain. I don't know how to play my role. Chapter 8. The City Beyond the Walls. The rhythmic clopping of hooves carried us forward, steady and endless, echoing faintly beneath the sprawling forest canopy. I had lost track of time by then, an hour, maybe more, yet the trail seemed to wind on forever, curving gently through a sea of crystalline barked trees that glimmered faintly in the morning sun. Their trunks sparkled like glass, their branches heavy with emerald leaves, and whenever the wind stirred, they rang like faint chimes. Beautiful, yes, but suffocating in its sameness. I leaned back against Sir Rex, his towering presence solid as stone, the heavy creak of his armor a constant reminder that I was not alone. My body swayed with the horse's gait, the rhythm almost hypnotic, and yet my ears strained for something, anything, that wasn't forest silence. And then it came. The world changed slowly, almost imperceptibly at first. The sharp tang of pine began to fade, the sweet fragrance of honeygrass gone. In its place drifted new scents, faint smoke, spices sharp and earthy, a trace of something unfamiliar but warm. My ears pricked up at distant sounds, soft, muddled at first, then clearer. The faint murmur of many voices, the clang of something metallic, and was that laughter? I straightened in the saddle, heart beating faster. The trees began to thin. Their crystalline bark gave way to sturdier stone-gray trunks, and sunlight poured freely through the gaps, bathing the path in golden warmth. My chest tightened with anticipation, every sense straining forward. Something was waiting. And then, suddenly, massively, it was there. Another wall. It rose from the earth like a mountain forged by human hands, taller and more formidable than the one before. Its surface gleamed faintly, carved with intricate spell-scribed runes that pulsed under the daylight, like veins of molten silver running across its body. Metal beams, wrapped in alloy that shimmered blue and gold, stretched upward, alive with a gentle thrum of power. It wasn't just stone. It breathed. I blinked, my mouth half open. You've got to be kidding me. Behind me, Rex laughed heartily, the sound booming against the still forest air. That, young master, is the final wall of the Velabrant inner territory. I groaned, flailing my arms helplessly. How many walls do we have? I just want to see the damn town already. Rex nudged the horse forward, amusement tugging at his voice. Patience. Behind this one lies the place you've been dreaming of. Patience. Easy for him to say. My bones ached from the ride, my legs felt like rubber, and I was about to lose my mind if I saw another stone wall. Yet, something in his tone made my stomach twist with anticipation. We drew closer. The horse's hooves struck rhythmically against the stone-paved approach. Nearly 24 knights manned the gate, clad in silver half-plate, warding runes glowing faintly along their breastplates. Their spears, enchanted, glowing faintly at the tips, were raised with perfect formality, far sharper in posture than any guards I'd seen before. Their presence was suffocating, an iron wall of flesh and discipline. One knight stepped forward, spear lowered respectfully, his eyes locked on Rex. Sir General. Rex dismounted with effortless grace, his massive frame landing on the stone with a weighty thud. Without a word, he lifted me gently down, steadying me as I stumbled, legs wobbling like a newborn foal. From within his chestplate, Rex pulled a silver parchment sealed with crimson wax, the phoenix crest of Archduchess Seraphina shimmering against the light. His voice cut like steel. Order of the Archduchess. Open the gates. The knight saluted, crisp and flawless. Acknowledged. Two mages stepped forward, their robes whispering against the ground. They placed their hands upon the arcane lever, a construct of floating rings and crystal shards that pulsed in synchronized rhythm. Light flared, crackling like living lightning, running across the massive wall. With a thunderous groan, the colossal twin doors stirred. Lines of glowing energy raced across their surface, veins awakening, until, whoom, a blast of air swept outward, forcing me to shield my face. The gates parted smoothly, like the jaws of some ancient beast, revealing a radiant, sun-kissed world beyond. And then, I saw it, the city, alive, vast, dazzling. I froze, breath stolen from my chest. Beyond the gates stretched a metropolis more alive than any I had ever dreamed. The main avenue gleamed with creamstone bricks, polished until they caught the light like jewels. Merchant stalls lined the streets, colorful canopies fluttering in the breeze. Hundreds, no, thousands, of people surged through the lanes, voices rising like a chorus, every accent, every tone weaving into the grand symphony of the city. The air was alive with scent: roasted nuts, sizzling meats, sugared fruits, perfumes sharp and sweet. Chimneys puffed smoke into the golden haze of the twin suns, painting the city in warmth. Children darted between stalls with wooden swords, their laughter echoing like bells. Teens waved magic scrolls, boasting of their power. A troupe of performers juggled glowing elemental orbs, their movements entrancing. Beastkin bargained loudly at the market, tails flicking with agitation, ears twitching at each deal. And in the distance, glorious towering, I saw it. A marble hall glowing faintly with arcane wards, spires stabbing into the sky. A guild hall? A school? I didn't know, but its majesty burned into my memory. My heart pounded. This is our estate? Rex stepped beside me, crossing his arms with pride. His voice rumbled deep, steady. The capital city of the Velabrant Duchy, home to over 6 million souls, merchants, guilds, academies, nobles, even foreign emissaries, all do business under the Velabrant banner. 6 million. The number struck me harder than a blow. Back on Earth, cities of that size had taken centuries to build. Here, in a world of magic, stood a living colossus of stone, spell, and ambition. And all of it, every street, every banner light, every stone belonged to my family. I looked up, eyes drawn to the crimson and silver flags that fluttered high above the gate towers, the winged lion crest of House Velabrant snapping in the breeze. A strange alien pride surged within me. Pride, but also weight, responsibility, excitement, fear. Let's not keep the city waiting, Rex said with a smile, returning to the horse. There is still much to see. And so we entered. The streets welcomed us with light and noise, each step another revelation. Crimson and gold banners draped from rooftops, fluttering in the gentle wind. Magical lanterns floated above shop fronts, glowing in shades that shifted with the passing hours. Music trickled from open taverns, lively strings mixing with the hum of enchanted instruments that danced in the air above their players. Children laughed as they chased one another through alleyways, wooden swords clashing in mock battle. Their joy was pure, unrestrained, a sound that wrapped around my chest and squeezed. For just a moment, I wished I could join them. Merchants sang their wares from atop wooden stalls. Fresh, sun-plucked cherries, sweet enough to make you forget your debts. Silver-forged longswords, one swing and even goblins will flee. Mana-restoring elixirs, brewed with elderroot and nightshade lily, discounted today only. The smells made my stomach twist with hunger. Grilled meats sizzling on spits, buttery roasted corn, sweet pastries dusted with cinnamon. Somewhere a blacksmith's forge roared, the clang of hammer on molten steel ringing sharp, each strike sending sparks flying. A dwarf worked bare-armed, sweat shining as he shaped glowing iron. Everywhere, life unfolded in brilliant color. Beastkin bartered in loud musical voices, fox-eared women flashing sharp grins as they sold spices, tigerfolk growling prices for silks, mouse-eared children snatching fruit with nimble fingers. Adventurers strutted proudly, armor gleaming, weapons strapped carelessly across their backs. A towering lizardkin marched past with a halberd that gleamed like starlight, while an elf in scholar's robes emerged from a levitating bookstore sign that flipped its own pages in the wind. A caravan rumbled past, carriages laden with grain, barrels marked with magical sigils glowing faintly, pulled by stallions with reins glittering like threads of silver. And everywhere, the guards, clad in deep blue plate, their halberds etched with runes, they patrolled with rhythmic precision. Some paused, saluting sharply as their eyes fell upon Rex and upon me. That was when I noticed. The whispers. Isn't that one of the Grand Duke's knights? Look at the boy, his crest, his hair. The heir? House Velabrant? He's out in the open? I froze, self-consciousness flooding me. My crimson silk doublet gleamed too brightly in the sun, trimmed in silver. The obsidian boots, the polished emblem at my collar, all of it screamed wealth, screamed nobility. In this sea of humanity, I was a jewel set among copper coins. The stares burned against my skin, my shoulders stiffened, my childish face trying and failing to look dignified. Rex chuckled quietly, leaning down to murmur near my ear. You're drawing too many eyes, young master. I blinked. Huh? You look as though you've stepped out of a royal portrait. We'll be drowning in attention if we continue like this. My gaze dropped to my own clothes. Ah. He was right. I looked ridiculous, radiant, exposed. We'll stop at a tailor's, Rex continued, smirking faintly. It's best we blend in, at least until our exploring is finished. My heart leapt. We're going into a store? Not just any store, he said, his voice carrying a note of amusement. One of the finest in this district. I nearly bounced in the saddle. A real tailor's shop, enchanted fabrics, mysterious cloaks, an actual fantasy shop from my dreams. Excitement burned through me, sweeping away every ounce of my nervousness. As we turned down a broader avenue, the world unfolded anew. Shops rose 2, 3 stories high, their windows shimmering with magical displays. An alchemy store hissed with glowing bubbles that drifted skyward from its chimney. A tavern's instruments floated above the roof, playing themselves in harmony. Bookstores hummed with shifting signs that flipped pages endlessly, glowing in the sunlight. Above it all, far beyond, my eyes caught the skyline. Towers crowned with banners, trade halls sprawling like palaces, airships drifting lazily above anchor spires that pierced the clouds. The city was alive, breathing, endless, and it belonged to my house. I leaned back slightly, head tilting toward the sky, lips curling into a smile that I couldn't contain. Yes. This was just the beginning.